Does anyone know of a family member, a friend, or just know of someone with a medical cannabis card? My name is Chris, and my presentation is on cannabis and whether or not medical cannabis should be legalized in all 50 states. With only partial legalization, cannabis is already making innovations in the medical field, providing substantial state funding, and also creating a new area in the stock market. So a few things I'm going to be talking to you about in my presentation. First are going to be how cannabis is in the medical field. Second, showing the revenue for state government. And third, being a new area in the stock market. With innovations in the medical field, scientists are seeing how cannabis can possibly help people with epilepsy. And a quote from Michelle Solis, who is a freelance writer in the Seattle, Washington area, she commented and said, "If conventional seizure medication worked, there'd be no need for a new and innovative medication." And this comes from her research, and from her research, she concluded that only about 7% of people with epilepsy can control their seizures. This means about 19.5 million people cannot control their seizures. And GW Pharmaceuticals actually did clinical trials with children with epilepsy and whether or not cannabis actually helps. And at the end of their clinical trials, parents commented and stated that their children's seizures were cut in half, which is a big deal. And to contrary to belief, there are many different forms that people can consume cannabis. In Great Britain, they've already started creating chewing gum, teas, and also skin cream. And in this picture that you can see there, her name is Charlotte. She was actually diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 3, and they actually did a documentary about her and how her parents moved to Colorado for medical cannabis because none of the conventional medications were working, and in the state they lived in, medical cannabis was illegal, so they moved to cannabis. And unfortunately, she actually died a couple weeks back because of the coronavirus. And next I'll be talking to you about is revenue for state government. So how the state will be able to make money off cannabis is through a cannabis tax. This is very similar to a sales tax. And Jonathan Calkins, who is a drug policy researcher at Carnegie Mellon University, stated that Colorado was estimated to bring in about $70 million in cannabis tax sales, but actually made over $140 million in cannabis tax revenue. There are also with money that is raised through cannabis tax sales, states will be able to put more funding into social services. From Noelle Crombie, who is a writer from Oregon Live, she stated that with Oregon, they actually put $34 million into schools, $17 million into mental health programs, along with alcohol and drug programs, and they also gave $12 million to the Oregon State Police Department. And the last topic I'll be talking about is how cannabis created a new area in the stock market. So there actually is right now a big stock market worldwide for medical cannabis. Companies in this stock market include research companies, cultivators, packaging companies, and cannabis device product making companies as well. But more companies are moving into Canada instead of the U.S. because Canada is seen as a more 420 friendly company, and this is because cannabis is still federally illegal, which means the federal government can prosecute anyone with the possession of marijuana, anyone who grows marijuana, and anyone who also distributes cannabis in large quantities. In conclusion, I hope my presentation showed you the benefits of legalizing medical cannabis and how it can help patients and also how it can help all the individuals as well. Thank you and stay safe.